Okay, we're live here, folks. Great. Today we've got in our partner spotlight, we've got Robert Fierro from Onfleet. And Onfleet is a trusted last mile delivery solution for thousands of companies across dozens of industries, including food and beverage, retail, pharmacy, and legal adult use in medical cannabis. So at Q Cannabis, we're featuring some of our more important partners in this time because we believe when you're not able to have as many people in your dispensary, and with the shifting landscape of legislation to enable delivery, Onfleet is a really good platform to be taking a look at right now to look at your delivery capabilities. So we're going to talk with Robert today a little bit about Onfleet, what they do, and also just get some of his insight into the conversations that he's been having with some of the clients that they're servicing in the cannabis space. So with that, I'm going to just hand it over to Robert. Robert, how's it going today? Thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, it's going great. Thanks, Sean. Good to be here with you.
So why don't you just give us a high-level overview of what you guys do, some of your history. Again, we really like Onfleet because of many of the things that we look at when we vet a partner. So the UI, the user experience is really good. You ran us through a demo. We're really happy with that. So we'll also include a link to the demo that we have for you guys so folks can take a look at that. But yeah, we're going to maybe dive into some of the features. The customer support is really good, really high marks. And then again, what I really like about Onfleet is that you guys have had experience in many other industries where delivery is a little more mature. So some of those best practices, I think, can be brought over into the cannabis space and some of the folks that are in the audience today.
Yeah, definitely. And Onfleet is a last mile logistics provider. And we provide a software solution to basically simplifies something that is very complex. And as you had mentioned, we have thousands of customers across all different types of industries. So we have experience in now 700 cities around the world, powering multiple millions of deliveries a month. Some of the larger customers outside of cannabis that we support are Total Wine and More, Gap, and Banana Republic in the Middle East, Napa Auto Parts. In the cannabis space, we actually assist most of the multi-state operators that are out there. And then we help all different types of cannabis businesses, from regional players to single dispensaries. And also we assist a lot with the supply chain management, so more of the distribution side of cannabis as well. Lots of different experience in all these different industries, but cannabis, we become the de facto solution for modern delivery software.
And that's, I think that's a really key point. Some of the things that we're seeing now in our conversations with cannabis clients across the country here is just how quickly things are changing in the legislation that will enable delivery of not only medical marijuana, but also adult use marijuana. Can you just go into what states you guys are currently operating in, and then what states are on your radar right now from a legislative perspective?
Yep. So, regarding COVID-19 and the changes that have been happening across the nation and pretty much internationally as well, as these deregulation of cannabis has come about, COVID-19 has pushed things to deregulate even faster. So what we're seeing is, this ability for cannabis companies to operate where they weren't able to before. And the beauty in that is that Onfleet works through so many different integration partners. So wherever those integration partners can legally begin to sell cannabis, Onfleet is brought along. So we're actually operating in any state that can legally deliver cannabis. So we support, most of the states out there. I think if we were going to highlight one state that we're really interested in right now is Oklahoma. Oklahoma has really taken steps to really broaden the ability of the consumers to be able to access cannabis across the state. So we're just seeing a massive influx over there. But across many of the states, you're just seeing this rapid push to allow for curbside, in-store pickup, and then also at-home delivery.
Yep. That's really exciting because I think as an industry, that's something that will just benefit everyone. It keeps everyone safer. Operations will be able to obviously drive sales through a delivery type of experience, especially if it's done right. And you can operate it so much more efficiently with the right platform and the right tools like what you guys are offering. So really exciting stuff right now. And again, one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight you guys. Excellent. So, what is one of the biggest trends you've seen with retail dispensaries as they adapt their operating models in response to COVID-19 realities?
Yeah, with COVID-19, I think one of the biggest things we're seeing is, there's a repurposing of employees. And so as dispensaries are limited in their ability to have customers come in store, and things have changed back a little bit, but there's still places where there's a concern about proximity. So there's limitations in the number of people that can go into a location. So what we're seeing is this rapid move to curbside pickup, to at-home delivery, and just trying to accommodate the customers the best they can. And Onfleet is there through all of this. And one of the beauties of Onfleet is just the simplicity in actually getting set up and running. So, we've seen across many different locations, companies that have had to actually shut down. And once they find Onfleet, within a day, they can be back up and running and actually delivering out to their end consumers where they didn't even have that ability before. So that ease of use is really what is assisting all of these different locations or different companies as they're trying to keep their businesses running in really uncertain times. Yeah,
absolutely. What does a typical onboarding experience look like for you guys? It sounds like it's fairly simple. So, that's always good stuff, right?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, actually. We have such great integration partners, which really assist in this process. But even if the integration partner isn't in place, Onfleet is really intuitive. And I really have to, pat my designers and my engineers on the back for really building something that is simple to use, has a really great user interface. Also, we have best-in-class driver applications in both app stores. So it just makes it really easy to onboard. And if we kind of go through those steps, companies will approach Onfleet. From there, we'll set up a demonstration of our software. Demonstrations really only take about 30 minutes. And then we've built a really robust support center. So, we will do some white glove guidance as people onboard, but then also our support center is so robust that most customers will get the answers to their questions from there as well. And most customers can be up and running, within 30 minutes of opening up Onfleet and signing up. It is that easy. There's a walkthrough as they go on. There's a walkthrough on the driver app. All of it is very intuitive. So if you feel like there's something that you should be able to click on or right-click on, most customers will figure it out and they'll be up and running. Now, when you look at other logistics softwares out there, they're bulky, they're complicated. It takes time for the user to actually understand what they're doing. With Onfleet, it's just simple.
Yep, that's really powerful. That 30 minutes up and running is incredible, considering if you were a business that had to shut down because of what we're dealing with now, to be able to be back up and running the next day within 30 minutes and delivering products out to your consumer. That's incredibly powerful. All right. You also mentioned a few times now your integration partners. Are there any that you'd like to highlight that are specific to the cannabis space?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. We don't like to really pick winners out there, but there are definitely some leaders in the integration space, in the menu space or the seed to sale. So I definitely say some of the key partners that we're working with, and we actually are certifying partners so that our end users know which partners have the ability to work in an efficient manner with Onfleet through the integration. And so some of the ones that we probably highlight are Kova, Blaze, Meadow, Dutchy, Jane, FlowHub, Leaf Logics. There's just a bunch of partners out there. I mean, I really do have like an endless list in this manner. More and more partners are coming online, integrating with Onfleet. considering we are, as I mentioned, the de facto solution in delivery, it just seems that almost all the partners look to use Onfleet, and we look to just make it as efficient as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some of the really heavy hitters in terms of e-commerce enablement and, some of the bigger point of sale systems. Obviously, that's important too, keeping your inventory straight and making sure you're staying compliant. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to delivery logistics alone, and then you start adding in all those complexities around compliance and inventory management. It's definitely something to take some time to make sure that you've got the tools that you need. So you guys are in the right spot. Excellent. What's something that's I guess this question comes up a little bit when we're talking to leads about you guys. Are you set up or to support both the retail and the wholesale sides of the cannabis industry?
That's a great question, Sean. I mean, we are a logistics management platform, so we're flexible enough to support both types of business models. Not only are we working with supply chain on the distribution side, on the brand management side, but then we're also supporting that last mile logistics piece, just making sure that we're getting to that end consumer in an efficient manner, in a compliant manner, and then also making sure that all of the customer messaging is going to alert the end user of cannabis so that they understand where that delivery is in real time, understand they can track the driver in recreational states, and then they also can provide feedback on the delivery experience. So it's really just an all-inclusive package.
Excellent. That's good to hear. What's a best practice from one of the other industries that you guys support that should be applied to the cannabis space that maybe some people aren't thinking about right now?
Yeah, I would say that for us, one place that we really represent is in the modern pharmaceutical industry. So we do support almost all of the modern pharmaceutical players out there. And all of those learnings around the compliance on HIPAA compliance has helped us really be effective in the pharmaceutical space, as well as making sure that we have all of the compliance in place to make sure that there are no missing pieces, especially as we have to report back to different government organizations.
Yeah, and I would assume that would be, around identity verification, age verification, those types of practices.
Exactly. About in regards to identification, in regards to just PII compliance, so making sure that only the necessary data is maintained in Onfleet and shared with the appropriate people.
Yep. Good stuff. Okay. Can you share a customer success story that highlights Onfleet's unique value to the cannabis space and last mile delivery logistics?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if I was going to highlight someone, we do have a number of different companies I could highlight. And, I think we have some press releases out there in regards to some of these companies. One is Hobo Cannabis in Canada. Another would be Kaliva in California. Both large branded dispensaries or retail locations. And what we found is that, these companies had started with us. Well, one of these companies had started with us a number of years ago when, just really in the infancy of cannabis retail. And in that time, they've now grown to be one of the major players in the space. And that really is just due to the ease of use and using Onfleet and being able to manage large amounts of orders efficiently and distribute them across drivers in different delivery zones. And so that kind of management can get very complex, and Onfleet really works to simplify it.
Yeah, that's right in your DNA for sure. So, well, I mean, those are the main points I wanted to draw out. So really appreciate your time, Robert. Was there anything else you wanted to leave us with?
Just that, anybody interested can definitely just reach out to Onfleet, to sales@onfleet.com. We have a breadth of knowledge in the industry, so we're always happy to act in a consultative nature if needed to really help people understand how to get their delivery businesses up and running efficiently. And, we have a lot of resources out there, a lot of knowledge in the space, so we're always just happy to help.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, we'll include a link to the demo that you guys have already provided us with this interview. And then again, if anyone else out there as well, you can just come to CUE Cannabis or qcannabis.com, and we can talk about, your delivery needs. We can talk about your point of sale needs, in many different categories. We can help get the dots connected for you out there with your technology and your business services. All right. Well, thanks again, Robert. Really appreciate your time. Really excited to be working with you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Sean.